Ellen DeGeneres, a name that now echoes with joy, laughter, kindness, and generosity, was not always embraced by the world with the same warmth she gave to it. Her path to success was not a golden staircase. It was a climb through the shadows of self-doubt, trauma, rejection, and emotional hardship that would have made most people give up. Born on January 26, 1958, in Metairie, Louisiana, Ellen grew up in a modest household with dreams no bigger than making people laugh. Her childhood was not marked by privilege or a smooth upbringing. It was marked by storms that tested her spirit at an early age. Her parents divorced when she was just a teenager, a blow that left her emotionally adrift. But what made it worse, and what she would not speak of for many years, was the trauma she faced at the hands of her stepfather, who sexually abused her. That kind of pain doesn't just leave scars, it creates silent wars within a person, wars that the world never sees, and Ellen carried that pain in her heart long before she carried a microphone in her hand. In the midst of her brokenness, she developed a coping mechanism that would become her superpower: humor. It was not just something she used to entertain others. It was the shield she used to survive, the light she clung to in her darkest rooms. While others saw comedy as a career, Ellen saw it as a lifeline. After high school, she worked various odd jobs: house painter, waitress, hostess, all the while nurturing the dream of one day standing on stage and making people laugh, not because she had to, but because she was born to. But as we all know, dreams do not unfold like fairy tales. She started performing at small local clubs, where her quick wit and unique style made her stand out. But the industry was not ready for someone like Ellen. In the early 1980s and 1990s, comedy stages were dominated by loud, brash men. Ellen's soft-spoken, conversational, observational style was different, and different didn't always get welcomed with open arms. But she kept showing up. Night after night, joke after joke, she refined her voice, sharpened her skill, and strengthened her resolve. In 1986, her hard work paid off when she was invited to appear on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. It was a moment of national spotlight, and when Carson called her over to sit on the couch after her performance, something he rarely did, Ellen's star began to rise. It felt like the universe was finally responding to the silent prayers she had whispered for years. She soon landed her own sitcom, Ellen, which premiered in 1994. It was funny, light-hearted, and a massive success. But behind the scenes, Ellen was battling something far deeper than ratings. She was hiding her true self. She knew she was gay, and she also knew that coming out publicly in the 1990s could end her career overnight. The fear of losing everything she had worked so hard for clashed with the pain of living a lie. And then, in 1997, in one of the most courageous moves in television history, Ellen came out, both personally and through her character on the show. The episode, titled The Puppy Episode, became a landmark moment for the LGBTQ+ community, but also a turning point in Ellen's life. While it was hailed as groundbreaking by some, it sparked backlash from others. Sponsors pulled out. Networks hesitated. Ratings dropped. And eventually, Ellen was cancelled. She became a target of hate, ridicule, and isolation. The same woman who had once been invited to sit beside Johnny Carson was now left sitting alone, wondering if honesty had cost her everything. What followed was one of the darkest chapters in Ellen's life. Offers stopped coming. The phone stopped ringing. Her identity had been made political, controversial, even dangerous, and the industry she loved seemed to turn its back on her. She went into a deep depression, questioning her worth, her purpose, and her future. Days blurred into nights, and the laughter she had once shared with millions became a memory she couldn't reclaim. But here's the part that makes her story unforgettable: she did not stay down. Even in the silence, even in the sadness, Ellen never let go of her core belief that kindness, truth, and humor could still win. She didn't try to force her way back into the spotlight. She focused on healing herself, on redefining what success meant, on staying connected to what made her spirit come alive. And in time, the world came back around. In 2003, 6 long years after her show was canceled, Ellen returned to television with The Ellen DeGeneres Show. No longer hiding, no longer apologizing, no longer waiting for approval, she came back as her full, authentic self. The world was finally ready. Her show was a massive hit, blending humor, heart, and humanity in a way that had never been seen before on daytime television. Guests weren't just interviewed, they were embraced. Audience members weren't just spectators, they were celebrated. From dancing across the stage to giving away life-changing gifts, Ellen made her show a place of healing and joy, because she knew what it felt like to need that. She became a voice for those who felt unseen. Her phrase, "Be kind to one another," wasn't just a slogan, it was a lifeline for millions who found hope in her vulnerability and strength. Over the years, Ellen didn't just become a talk show host, she became a cultural icon. She hosted the Oscars, appeared on countless magazine covers, and was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Barack Obama. But behind all the awards, all the applause, all the glittering lights, Ellen's truest success was that she had defeated the darkness that once threatened to consume her. She had taken depression and turned it into determination. She had taken rejection and turned it into resilience. She had taken trauma and turned it into transformation. Ellen DeGeneres proved that real power doesn't come from being perfect, it comes from being real. It comes from choosing love over fear, truth over comfort, and purpose over popularity. She reminded us that your past does not define your future. That no matter how far you've fallen, no matter how long you've been overlooked, no matter how deep your pain runs, there is still time to rise. There is still time to rebuild. There is still time to laugh again. Her story is a lighthouse for anyone navigating the storms of life, reminding us that authenticity is the only path to true freedom, and that no amount of applause from the world means anything if you're silencing your own soul. Today, even though Ellen has stepped back from her talk show, her legacy lives on, not in episodes, but in every person who dared to live truthfully because she led the way. In every quiet moment where someone chose kindness over cruelty because they remembered her words. In every person who battled depression but remembered that someone as joyful and successful as Ellen had also walked through the same shadows and made it through. Her life teaches us that success is not the absence of struggle. It is the triumph over it. That courage isn't loud. It's that quiet voice that whispers, "Try again tomorrow." Ellen DeGeneres didn't just make people laugh. She made people believe. Believe in hope. Believe in healing. Believe in themselves. And if her story teaches us anything, it's that you are not broken beyond repair. You are not too far gone. You are not too late. You are still becoming. And if you keep walking, keep fighting, keep showing up as your truest self, then like Ellen, you too can turn your pain into power and your truth into a legacy.